Hi, it's Cheryl Cadzow back again. Sorry for taking so long, but I have had some huge filming commitments and have been really busy. I did actually do this drawing when I was on holidays in Canberra, which is the capital of Australia, in case you didn't know. And I took a few things with me because I knew I would want to draw while I was away on holidays. I was at my sister-in-law's place. I decided to start off with circles because you can find a cup or a bowl anywhere that you can find a trace a circle out, and decided that was the easiest way to go. And I kind of liked the idea of doing some psychedelic circles inside the circles. I didn't want to strain myself too much because I was on holidays. So I started off with the usual suspects, the bubbles and a few flowers, and then I decided to have a go at a little bit of lace work. It's just a really simple thing to do, and like if you fill those loops in with the dark circle, it just jumps out at you. It takes on a whole different view. It just starts to look 3D, or it's got a bit of guts in it by having that dark pigment in it. So I really like it, and it's easy to do. It's a no-brainer. I saw some artwork online recently, and they used a lot of little squiggly hearts and shapes and things, and I thought it was a really good fill-in. Doesn't take much to do, and you can fancy them up as much as you like using a really fine pen. I was probably using the 0.5 for that to keep it really light. Oh no, that's a 1. Just saw the end of it. I love this little section. I got the idea from some biscuits and thought, oh, the section of oranges would make a really good area to draw inside. So that's where this idea came from. And then I kind of like the basket weave effect. It's really not basket weave because they're not going over as such, but it just gives a 3D look to it by giving the impression that there's something underneath it, which I think makes the picture really pop. It just draws your eye to it. It's like an old film reel. Being a filmmaker, I really like the way it looks, and it doesn't take long to do. It fills in quite nicely. Then you've got the option of shading to give it a shadow effect in below, or you can even darken what is basically the lower section of it, which is another option that you can do. It was a really simple little drawing, and I don't think I've ever used that idea before. I must try doing some different things like that because I think it worked out really well. Now I'm just adding a little bit of shadow to that sort of ribbon effect, or they're almost like sinews or ligaments underneath. Less basket weavy, as I haven't sort of gone over and under, but I'm just giving that little bit of shading to the edges to make it look like those ribbons are coming up and over and down again and catching the light in the middle. I think it looks really good. It's quite an interesting effect. Oh, and look, I did decide to colour in some of it. I couldn't remember, it's that long ago since I did it. But yeah, I really like it. It looks great. I think it's quite an effect to work with. You could do it with other things as well. I have just completed filming 6 episodes of a TV show that will be aired in Australia, and eventually I probably will put it on YouTube once it's gone on TV. It's called Artisans of Central Vic. I interview local artists in my area, and I absolutely love doing it. The editing process is taking a long time, but I really do hope people enjoy it and that we get a chance to do a second season. The other main project that I've had at the moment was we've sort of been doing some documentary work on a multicultural festival Wow, that was fantastic. It was 9 days all up of filming, many hours of work. Got to meet some lovely people. The colours in the costumes of the Indian costumes, the Filipino outfits, the musical instruments was just a fantastic show. I actually have a 1 minute teaser on my other channel. I might put a link below to it so that you can see it. It was a fantastic time, full of colour, full of music, and I think I could use some of the patterns from the costumes in my drawing. This section that I'm doing now is like tapestry or embroidery with all the little loops and shapes, and it's like putting beads onto it. So you can get your ideas from just about anywhere. We're in the process now, my team, of documenting everything. Now we're sharing out who does the editing, and it has been full on having to really listen to all that stuff over and over again and to fix the sound up. I think I'm probably due for another Doodle Art drawing just to have a bit of a relaxing time. I've got quite a lot of work to do, but I just see that I'm getting more and more subscribers, that I really had to get this up, seeing that it was almost done. And now my dog's barking, one of my dogs are barking at probably just a bird. They bark at everything, and you can probably hear it in the background. I kind of like this little style of drawing too. The other part is like wrought iron gates and a puddle ripple. And this one is to me, very retro. I quite like the idea of just doing lines and having like fake white dots that only appear once you get all the lines done in it. Really enjoy it. Back to the pearls. If in doubt, you always put pearls in and a few dark lines. The dark lines, as I've said before, give it a depth that you don't normally get with just straight lines. And these are, my old pipes, yes. They're another favourite of mine to do. They fill in an area quite well, and they give another three-dimension look to your artwork. You can doodle in between the pipes, you can just fill them in and put some shadows around them just to give that effect to it. Here I'm putting a little bit of shading on the side of the pipe to make it look like it is actually a physical pipe. I don't think you really have to choose a side. Like in normal drawing, you choose a side that the light comes from, but you can change it inside Doodle Art because there's no real rules. See, I've decided to fill in part of my what looks like ironwork, and now just with doing these lines, they make them look like leaves, which is quite amazing how that changes it. Good old worm shapes and loops. It's amazing because all this is all from lines and circles. Different versions of lines like zigzags, curvy lines, lanes, and lots of circles and shapes. You can do solid circles, you can do small circles. These are like little paisley type characters. Another good one is what I call sort of the fungus look, where you just start with a little loop and just keep rippling out. It's almost like puddles or droplets from rain, but it's also really like fungus growing on a tree. Another nature reference. I don't know if you can hear the magpie in the background. He's singing. We had a total eclipse of the moon last night, and it was quite crazy because when our shadow finished passing across the moon, all the galahs took off. It was almost like they thought it was morning again because it was so bright with the full moon, and they flew around. I was sort of hoping they didn't crash into anything because it was still reasonably dark even though it was a full moon. The animals around here are amazing. We have so many kangaroos. We have to be really careful when we're driving. I did bump into a wallaby recently. I don't know how he fared. We got a bit of a dent in the front of our car, and that was 10 o'clock in the morning. You don't usually have that sort of problem then. Ah, the good old Star of David, the two triangles on top of each other, and some night stars. I rather like this little, it's sort of like a negative space drawing with all kinds of shapes. It's really just making a shape and keeping a little clear pathway around it. It reminds me of a drought-stricken river or dam when the mud cracks and curls up on the sides. Similar sort of a thing happening to it. And you can, I obviously was thinking about that at the time because now the shading on the corners, it just gives that little impression that it is tilting at the points. So getting back to the cracked mud, if you've ever walked along a river or into a dam when it's dried up and the mud hasn't broken away but it's just cracked and the tips are lifting up, that's sort of what I've got. And it really looks good. It gives a quite a nice impression of depth while you're drawing it. I quite enjoy the look of that. It's interesting, I drew this a couple of months ago and I think I appreciate it more now looking at it. And my little vines and antennas around the outside, they are a great little fill-in. I never really know where I'm going with this because I just go with the mood, and I think that's the really good thing about doodle art, is that you draw how you feel. If you're tired, you don't draw much. If you're excited and you've been excited by somebody else's work, you have a go at some of their patterns. I used to always draw inside, but now I quite enjoy that overflow outside because it just gives it another dimension. And it also gives it a lightness, I think. Instead of having like that black edge that just suddenly stops, it's just got another little life after the edge. And if you do squiggly lines and hearts and plant-like drawings, it just lifts it. It makes it so much lighter, and I really enjoy it. Well, I think this drawing turned out really well. What do you think? Leave a comment below. Don't forget to subscribe and check out my other drawings. Don't just do doodle art, I do all kinds of things. If there's anything you're interested in me trying, let me know. Leave a comment below. Pass on my videos, that's fine by me. And if there's anything that you want to know about it, just let me know. I do try to get back as quick as I can. As I said, I do make short films, documentaries. I do a lot of different things in the art world, but doodling is always a great relaxer. So just have a go at it. You don't have to do anything really big. Do it small size, like on a card or a business card size to start off with. I actually did some business cards and doodled them while I had a garage sale one day. I got a few of them done. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Comment, subscribe, let me know what you're doing. I'd love to hear from you. Have a great day and happy doodling. Bye.